My name's Julia Gillard. I'm the former Australian Prime Minister, and I've been here today to talk about women and leadership. I think for me the big pivotal moment was actually as long ago as my second year at university. If the Whitlam government hadn't abolished fees for university, I wouldn't have got there. I was focused on my legal studies, and that could have been me, that could have been my life. I could have finished my legal studies, I could have stayed in Adelaide, I could have worked in a law firm. But what really changed everything for me was getting involved in a political campaign about government cutbacks to education, and then getting this sense that, I can do this, I can raise my voice, I can make a difference, maybe I could even be good at this. And fast forward the clock, if I hadn't got involved in that campaign right back then, I wouldn't have ended up being involved in Labor politics, I wouldn't have ended up being in the federal parliament, I wouldn't have ended up Prime Minister. I think the most important thing in driving you to strive to succeed is knowing why, having a sense of purpose. And so for me, from my earliest days, from my university days, I've been very clear that I wanted to fight for equal opportunity, for education for all, and that sense of purpose is what propelled me into politics, and it's really what keeps me going now. So I think if you can be very clear about that, your motivation, what you're trying to achieve, that will get you through. For me, it was actually a 10-year struggle to get into the federal parliament. I tried out for pre-selection by the Labor Party time after time after time and got rejected. And then I finally got pre-selected for a Senate seat, and I was low on the ticket and didn't get elected. So it took me a decade after I decided I wanted to be a parliamentarian to get elected to the parliament. And with all of those rejections, I did have to pick myself up and think, am I going to try out for this again? I keep failing. But I knew what I wanted to achieve. I wanted to focus on education. I wanted to focus on, the politics of opportunity. And so that gave me a sense of motivation and kept me going. I mean, everybody has a difficult day, a difficult patch, a time when they feel like they've lost motivation, when it's a little bit harder to keep going than others. But if you can sort of sit back and think, why am I doing this? Is it getting me to where I said I wanted to be? Is it fulfilling the sense of purpose that I started with? You can really check yourself, and is it that the position you're in is one that you need to think about changing, or have you just lost a little bit of energy and you can re-motivate yourself around that sense of purpose? I think for women who are striving to be leaders, striving to be their best, they do need to think about what it is to achieve in a world that's still gendered. Unfortunately, we all do have, whispering at the back of our brains, stereotypes about men and women, and these still can come to the fore. So you need to be thoughtful about that. So I would advise women to, read some of the literature about how gender still impacts perceptions, be brave in raising sexism if they see it in their workplace, join a network with other women and men who are prepared to be champions of gender equality, of fairness in workplaces, and to be quite thoughtful about your own sense of self, making sure that you don't get buffeted off course by critiques about you, because unfortunately for many women, particularly women who end up in publicly exposed professions, there can still be some quite harsh criticism. The best tips I could give about overcoming setbacks is be kind to yourself. Everybody fails, so don't beat yourself up because there's been a problem. Try and learn from it. It's hard to be dispassionate when you failed at something. It's hard to be analytical. You're upset, but you need to put those emotions aside and try and think, is there something I can learn from here? I'm very proud of the things that we did in education, and they continue to make an impact in the Australian community. I'm also incredibly proud of the National Disability Insurance Scheme, and I'm very proud too that we put together the Royal Commission that has investigated into child sexual abuse, and I think that that's going to change us as a nation.